Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय थैंक यू प्रभु जी थैंक यू माता जी
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, welcome you all on behalf of ICF. Prabhuji, you can take over. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Pranams.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Rutam Ashtoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vichaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome all to this session. So before I start, as usual, by now you would have got used to this. Some more rules, some more regulations not being followed. Yeah, every time I come and say something, please take it in the right spirit. I repeatedly urge you all. It's so very recently I was hearing one. All of you might know His Holiness Jad D Maharaj. So he was the one of the original editors of Srila Prabhupada's books. Worked very, very closely with Srila Prabhupada. And okay, just maybe landscape. I'm just giving you a landscape. Landscape is that Srila Prabhupada, he is the founder Acharya. So he set up ISKCON in the way he thought it was appropriate, right? Because he's the messenger of Krishna, and he's come and he knows what he's doing, and he's established ISKCON in a particular way, right? Once one devotee was saying that how do we know whether we are actually what does Srila Prabhupada expect out of us? And he made a very nice statement saying that if you read Prabhupada's purports, then we will understand, or we will become a mold, we will come into the shape that Prabhupada actually wants us. Meaning, if you actually read Prabhupada's books again and again, we will become a devotee like what Prabhupada wants, or like what Prabhupada expects out of us. And in ISKCON, there's a whole wide spectrum of all the subsequent disciples of Srila Prabhupada who subsequently became, initiating gurus, etc. All of them have had individual interactions at different times with Srila Prabhupada in different scenarios, etc. And Srila Prabhupada, when he established ISKCON, initially he was very, very lenient about everything, because he was world Acharya. He was, he went to the West to create something out of nothing, right? So initially he was very, very lenient in terms of rules, regulations, etc. But then as if somebody has read Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, you'll understand this. And as years went by, so Prabhupada repeatedly emphasized the need for following rules and regulations, need for following standards. And subsequently, due to various reasons, which I'm not qualified to speak about, or which we should not even be discussing about, in ISKCON today, there are various standards that are followed, right? There's like a whole spectrum. There are some who are following 100%, as in 100%, as in they don't be these disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they want to follow Prabhupada exactly, like pinpointed, like exactly, right? And then there are others also who are, but they have, like I said, their own interactions with Prabhupada, which influence their approach to Krishna consciousness, etc. So generally, some devotee told me that there is like a spectrum of strictness about following rules. There's like a spectrum, right? Some are very strict, some are not very strict. Now, Jad D Maharaj is one of those who are on that, fully strict, end of the spectrum. And he had very recently, or not recently actually, 3-4 years back, I think, he had given 6-hour seminar on Kirtan standards. So yeah, I mean, anybody who hears this would like just fall off their chair. So one of the things which I heard and which I see very regularly practiced in ISKCON is this Jai Gurudev, right, which we normally see after Jai Srila Prabhupada, then Jai Gurudev. And he said that Prabhupada said that it's impersonal. It's impersonal because who is this Gurudev? Right, and then of course, then different people, different devotees interpret saying that it is my Gurudev. But then in a gathering of devotees where there are disciples of various gurus, then what does it mean? So the person who is singing is remembering his own guru, then somebody else who is a disciple of some other guru is remembering that guru. So Prabhupada just said, no, it's impersonal. Just Jai Srila Prabhupada is enough. And when there is a congregation or gathering of only disciples of a particular guru, then even there, the glorification has to be done by taking the name of the guru, not not a generic approach of Jai Gurudev. Just aside, I've not started my class yet, but so there are these things like this, and I keep hearing this, and I try to follow in my own practice and in the area of influence that I have. Because these things are important. Whatever Prabhupada said should be followed, because this is Prabhupada's ISKCON, isn't it? This is not our ISKCON, or it's not my ISKCON, or your ISKCON. Yes, in terms of belongingness, yes, we feel that way, but he is the founder Acharya. He is the one who drives everything here, and everybody else is just simply just following what he has said. Anyway, so that's it. Okay, so we are okay. Actually, I was going through the verses. Very tough set of verses, I should say. So what did you all hear in the last? I'm going to share my screen. What did you learn from your last session? Any takeaways? Anybody? Anybody wants to share? What all did you? Because I'm supposed to start from 34, but as I mean, like there's some overlap with the last session's topic. Yeah. Yeah. So from here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I shall say what I understood, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So we are in a discussion wherein the womb, in the womb, the unborn baby is making prayers in the form of the unborn to the Lord, relating to his past. He's remembering his past deeds. The child is remembering the past deeds and all that, past births, and praying to the Lord that, please pull me out of this womb, and then I will engage into your service. And before that, the condition of the child in the womb is explained, how it is so much difficult, facing so much difficulty inside the womb, amidst all the pus and all the surroundings. And in yesterday's class, we understood how we have got this Nararoop, that is the human body, which is at the same time very easy to get and very, very durlabh, very, very rare also to get. Easy because each and every species out of the 84 lakh species advances at one time or the other and comes to this human body. And difficult because we get this very rarely, we don't get it very often. So once we fall from where we are and we do not engage in devotional service, we might have to get back to the, we might not get a fresh lease of life or again a human body. So we should always honor this human body and try to do as much of devotional service, because we don't know what is our karma and whether again we will immediately get a human birth. Hare Krishna.
Okay, anything else? Okay, I was a bit, I was reading from verse 31 and I was wondering, saying that, how am I going to address this set of verses? Okay, so I don't know whether these things were actually discussed. So I'm just reading some of these verses. For the sake of the body, which is a source of constant trouble to him and which follows him because he is bound by ties of ignorance and fruitive activities, he performs various actions which cause him to be subjected to repeated birth and death. If therefore the living entity again associates with the path of unrighteousness, influenced by sensually minded people, engaged in the pursuit of sexual enjoyment and the gratification of the palate, he again goes to hell as before. Okay. So now the whole sequence of verses from here, at least the next 5-6 verses, are focused on this topic. Sensually minded people engage in pursuit of sexual enjoyment and gratification of the palate. He becomes devoid of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, what is that? Fame, forgiveness, control of mind, control of senses, fortune, and all such opportunities. Now, who is this person who has lost everything? He's a person who associates with the path of unrighteousness. And what does unrighteousness mean? Not going and breaking somebody's head. That's not unrighteousness. Of course, that's a gross form of unrighteousness, right? Which is not discussed here, because such people are not going to be sitting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Now, this unrighteousness, which is that aspect of human life which is considered very normal. What is considered very normal is to be sensually minded, right? And sensually minded simply means pursuit of sexual enjoyment and gratification of the palate. Bhagavatam, in this chapter, Kapil Muni is clearly saying that this is the path of unrighteousness. Who in this world is not engaged in these two activities? Which human being is not engaged in these two activities? Except for those rare souls, for those very rare souls, right? Who are brahmacharis, sannyasis. At least one part is definitely, they have to avoid by dint of their ashram, right? Which is the part of sexual enjoyment. No, but this sexual enjoyment is also doesn't have to be always gross. There's also subtle sexual enjoyment. And there's gratification of palate. This pretty much, like I said, exalted, very senior sannyasis, etc., or very senior brahmacharis, we can say maybe they have reached that stage, right? Because it's a very, very difficult thing to do. It's a very difficult thing to do, right? And Kapila Muni is saying this is the path of unrighteousness. Pursuit of sexual enjoyment, pursuit of gratification of palate is the path of unrighteousness. And he's saying that anybody who follows this, who is influenced by these things, or associates with people who think these things are important, he again goes to hell as before. As before means that we've been doing this circles. And such a person becomes devoid of all qualities which are required for us who are in the pursuit of spiritual realization. So one should not associate. So I'm starting the sequence of verses that I'm supposed to be reading. Te shvashanteshu mudheshu khanditatma swasadushu sangam na kuryat chocheshu yoshit krida mrugeshu cha. Very, very strong verses. Very strong verses. So I can't help but go in the mood. One should not associate with a coarse fool who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization and who is no more than a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. Okay. Now the next 4 or 5 verses are just about women. So now, obviously, I see all, which is why I said, it's a very tough class for me. I have to speak this in front of women. Now, before I start this class, right, so I want to set a context. I want all of you to actually participate in helping me set this context. Who are you? When we are going through these verses, in what mood should we go through these verses? Like I said, it's heavily hammering women. Okay. So what is the mood in which we have to go through these verses? And I want you only to explain, because only when you explain, you will be convinced. If I say something, they'll say, no, Prabhu is just simply saying, because, he's on the other side. So what is the mood in which we should actually go through these verses, or any discussion for that matter, whenever it comes to this discussion of genders, right? Male, female. And there are obviously reasons, and there are certain prerogatives given to men as compared to women, etc. How should you, who in this life have taken the body of a tree, how should you accept it, or how should you receive it, or what should be your mood, what should be your consciousness? Because otherwise it'll become very difficult. I'll be like trying to cut through like heavy resistance. I want to cut out that resistance, because otherwise we can't understand these verses, we can't appreciate these verses. Yeah. Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
May I?
Yeah, please.
Prabhuji, I feel once we are into the spiritual path, we need to understand that we are no more any of any gender. It's like gender doesn't matter whether we are males or females. Like, of course, we have to follow whatever rules have been given for females, the Matajis. But then as a soul, we have to look at ourselves as a soul. And if Bhagavatam, I feel personally that if Bhagavatam is saying something, Bhagavatam is the highest Purana. Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are the highest Purana. So and Bhagwan is making Vyasa Muni say all these things. So I feel that whatever is written there is for our own common good, and each and everything will have its own reasoning behind. So unless and until we understand, go into the deep, we will not be able to reason it. So if we try to, just wash it away and say, no, this doesn't, I don't agree with it, then we are only being, I will be just be showing myself as a fool, because we are just mortals, and whatever has been given in Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita cannot be in any way proved wrong. That's what I have understood. Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Can I share my understanding?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, Prabhuji, like in a lot of classes, like you mentioned, these things always come up, that why women are considered less intelligent and all of that. And I remember one of the classes where Prabhupada had mentioned that Lord Krishna is the creator, and only the creator knows truly what he has created. So just like the Lord has not created all species, all yonis, all living entities equal, each one has their own characteristics. So similarly, yes, superficially, socially, there are reasons why women would like equality in different areas. But at the point of the way different species have been created, I do believe that Lord Krishna has created women differently. So women have certain qualities. It can be positive, it can be negative. And if we just inherently believe that every entity is different, as created by the Lord, we accept it as a parcel with both the good and the not so good.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So, yeah, thank you for your thoughts. See, basically, simple thing we have to remember, saying that it's just that in this life I've taken the body of a woman. That's all. Right? In previous life, I could have been in the body of a male. Right? The same thing with me. I would have been in the body of a female multiple times in my past life. And this time I'm in the body of a male. Now, obviously, we have to understand why did we get this body, right? Why each of us have got this body. And this is the important thing from a spiritual, from our path of bhakti perspective, right? Is because that there was something in the nature of woman which attracted us in our previous life. It could have been that we were a male, we were attracted to our wife, or whatever it is, right? Our desires brought us to this body. This is a very, very important thing to understand, right? It's not so much about that we are today in the body of a female, but it's important what this builds up in terms of our consciousness, right? So our previous life actions, desires, etc., were in such a way that we got this body of a woman today, right? It's three. And that's very important because there's one book which I'm sure you would have all heard, is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Right? It's absolutely true. It's a material reflection by some author, right? But it's true. The nature of these two entities, right, in Krishna's creation, male and female. Can you please unmute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So there is a certain nature, right? Swabhav, as we call, right? And it is true that these entities, as you know, male and female, have certain very unique qualities about themselves. Like, yeah, Sarika Mataji is saying, yeah, some are good, some are bad, which is true for both men and women, right? But for us, we have to simply remember that when we are going through these verses, we should remember that we cannot say that there is no gender difference in ISKCON or on the spiritual path. Please, we should not have this mindset. Okay, because if that was true, then there wouldn't have been separate rules. The reason that there are separate rules just shows that there is a reason that this separation still needs to be maintained. For the simple reason Prabhupada is going to explain in these purports. Okay. So it's not that we will forget that I'm a male or a female. I will absolutely remember that I'm a male or a female, because when I enter the temple, I go into the male side and you'll all go into the female side, isn't it? So we cannot just forget it. But when it comes to executing devotional service, Krishna doesn't make a difference. Krishna is seeing the pure Atma offering him seva. Okay. The differentiation is there and it should remain till we give up this body in terms of external differentiation. And the external differentiation also brings about a lot of, like, for example, sannyasis, for example, is something which a person in a male body can only take up. Right? And there are so many other things like this. So the varnashrama rules actually very heavily differentiate between men and women, but gives equal opportunity for both men and women to do bhakti. There's no discrimination in that sense. In the sense everybody has access, but when they have access, there are certain restrictions imposed on each group. Right? And otherwise, you tell me, in any temple before I came into Krishna, I never seen any temple where they make Prabhus and Matajis sit separately. And many people actually come to ISKCON first time, they'll be like surprised, like, hey, why is this? I normally sit with my family together, but you're now making me sit separately for a reason, isn't it? So we can't just close our eyes saying that, no, we are all spiritual. In which case we wouldn't have had to make the separation at all. So please keep in mind, there is absolutely a need to keep the separation, right? But when we are hearing these verses, we should also understand that for whatever reason that I've taken the body of a woman, I have to be careful about these things. Because this is inherent in the nature of a female body, not the Atma. We're not talking about the Atma. In a female body, this is inherent in the sense, the Atma who, for whatever reason, has now taken a female body is more closely aligned with the feminine nature. Okay, maybe I'll take a step back. We're all conditioned. Why are we conditioned? Because we associate with the body. That's why we are conditioned. We are conditioned. Conditioned state simply means that I am thinking I am the body. Are we in conditioned state or in liberated state right now?
Conditioned, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So in conditioned state, how can we forget that the bodily differentiation cannot be forgotten? Is it clear? Only in the liberated state can we forget, right? But we are all in conditioned state. So in conditioned state, we continue to understand and maintain the difference, maintain this one. And more importantly, that we have to understand, simply put, right? Like, it's much easy for example, I mean, being in a male body, I'm saying, vairagya is very natural for most women, most men. Vairagya is very natural, right? And if for women, it's not very natural, for the simple reason that they give birth to children, and that whole birth giving process is that of love and affection. The whole process of building a house, building a family is love and affection. And all these, because of our own conditioning, maybe from this life, from previous life, brings in a lot of attachment, to family, to children, to husband, to parents, etc., etc., etc. Right? And this is there in the female body. And we can't just write it off. Right? Now, what that means is, now there might have to be a little more effort to be put to cut out this attachment, which is so much more easier in the body of a male. Okay. Now, when here in these verses, there is discussion, what is the nature of women that are being discussed here? Are those who want to exploit this whole creation, exploit men, etc., for sense gratification, right? So it doesn't really refer to the women devotees who are trying to purify themselves, right? Like there are male devotees who are trying to purify themselves. There are also female devotees who are trying to purify themselves. These verses might not necessarily refer to them, but for somebody like me, I have to be very careful about these verses. I have to be very, very wary about these verses, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very wary about associating with women, right? It could be devotees, it doesn't matter. And these verses are very heavy, right? So now, being on the other side, you please respect and understand the position of the person opposite gender. This is one very, very important thing I'm saying, because in ISKCON, actually, we've seen so many fall downs. You know how these fall downs happen? It's very casual mix-up of genders. Casual mix-up of genders. I mean, I see so many times when there's kirtan happening, men and women literally like, you know, this physical contact is not appreciated at all in Vedic culture, right? It could be for any reason. It could be, you could say that, okay, there is not enough place, so I was playing kartal and I was just sitting beside a male, and you know, my physical body touches the physical body of that other person. Not acceptable, right? Because of obvious reasons that is very clear in our culture, in the Indian culture, in the Hindu culture, right? So you should, as women devotees going through these verses, please remember that there is still the woman in you, and then there is another male who has a male in him, right? And that male can get affected by these things. So as a woman, how can I protect or prevent a co-devotee from getting affected, from falling down? Is also a responsibility, right? So I'm saying there are two parts to this. When I'm reading these verses, I'm reading these verses from my perspective, saying that I'm in the male or body of a male, and I would be very careful about these verses. You, in the female body, you will say, okay, maybe this is not for me, but this is for the person who is opposite to me, right? And I could be the cause for that person's fall down. So I have to be careful and protect, right? Make sure that I don't become responsible for this. So this is one line of thought in which, and for what reason? Because you have in this life taken the body of a female, and in this life I have taken the body of a male. Okay. Now these verses are not necessarily talking at the platform of soul, in that sense that why is there so much differentiation or distinction being made? Because this is the bondage of this material world. This Purusha Stri Maituna Bhavam Etad, right? Tayo Granthi Mahu, right? So this is the Granthi, this is the bondage. This male female is the bondage. That is the shackles of material life. So we can't just write it off. We have to overcome it. We have to transcend it. And the process of transcendence is not ignoring the differentiation or the separation, right? It is appreciating, respecting the separation so that we protect ourselves, and which will then further enable us to transcend. So we'll go through these verses. I mean, because when I read these verses, I said, you know, if I don't set the context, we won't be able to go through. We won't be able to actually understand or appreciate these verses, right? So let's see how much we can cover in the remaining half hour. But I hope the context is somewhat clear. Is that okay? Did everybody appreciate this?
Yes,
Because,
Prabhuji.
right?
Yes,
I mean,
Prabhuji.
48
Yes,
Matajis,
Prabhuji.
and
Yes.
I'm trying to, you know, use three verses. So it's not. Please don't take it personally. At the same time, take it personally. Personally, in the sense that it's not for you, but for because you've taken a female body, right? So, you know, both things have to be there at the same time when we are going through these verses. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, we can ask the devotees to read the translation and purport if you want.
No, Mataji, because I'll be breaking where I want to do, where I want to highlight,
Sure,
etc.
sure,
So
Prabhuji.
is it
Okay,
okay?
Prabhuji.
Because
Okay,
my
Prabhuji.
way of
Yeah,
giving
sure,
a
Prabhuji.
class is very different. Wherever something hits me, suddenly I
Sure,
stop
sure.
and, you know, I go into
Sure,
some
Prabhuji.
details, right? So I'm sorry.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So the verse is saying one should not associate with a coarse fool who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization. Of course, all of us have to be on this on the path of this self-realization. What is the self-realization for us? What does self-realization mean for us?
The main thing is
We are,
knowing that we are not body.
we are not the body. We are the
We are
spirit
not
source.
meant to be here.
Yeah, okay. So self-realization for us, simply we have to remember saying that this realization is just that I am the servant of Krishna. That is the self-realization we are seeking. Now everything else is, you know, en route, right? En route, yes, you know, I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul, etc. But eventually the self-realization that we are seeking is actually, I want to realize that I am the servant of Krishna, right? Till then, there are various stages through which we have to go. But that is the eventual path. That is the ultimate path of self-realization. Then there are the gnanis who will say, I am not the body, I am spirit, soul, etc., etc. Right? But for us, eventually, it's about me being a servant of Krishna, right? So we should not associate with people who are not interested in establishing that sambandha jnana with Krishna. We should not be interested. What does that mean? What does it mean that we should not associate? Is there anybody here who doesn't associate with material people? This is just karmis of this world. Is there anybody here who's not associating with karmis? All of us are associating.
We
Right?
are.
Right? So we should understand what this associate means is not getting influenced, not that we cut off contact. Of course, that is the most favorable situation for Krishna consciousness. You know what is the most favorable situation for Krishna consciousness? Even namesake, there is no association with non-devotees. Even obligatory or social intercourse, there is no interaction with non-devotees. That's the ultimate. Right? You know, Prabhupada, again, one more hugely controversial topic in ISKCON today. Prabhupada said that only 50% of my work is done when, you know, just before he was leaving his body, he said, only 50% of the work is done. 50% is Varnashram. And why that Varnashrama? Prabhupada repeatedly said it will give the environment for devotees to only interact with other devotees and only practice Krishna consciousness throughout. Right? And these palm communities were actually meant to give that environment. There's one new Vrindavan, right, which Prabhupada, you know, multiple times he wanted to set up that new Vrindavan, and he said, you know, build more of these, people will run from the cities and come and join our farms, right? Because this is where the ideal environment where we will not associate with the coarse schools at all, right? Not even names, not even for, you know, sake of social intercourse. But yeah, when we are in the city, no option. We will engage with them, but we don't get influenced by their thought process. This is very, very important, you know, especially in South India, at least in Karnataka, you know, there's this Ganesha Gauri is like a big one. Maharashtra, it is a big one. And then everybody is like, oh, are you also celebrating Ganesha Gauri? And, you know, like, oh, everybody's celebrating. I'm not celebrating. Why? Oh, because I'm a devotee of Krishna. Krishna says, Avidi Purvakam in Bhagavad Gita. And then we should not get influenced. Like, oh, no, see, everybody's doing, I should also do. Right? So this is the problem with association with these, you know, materialistic people. Their whole thought process gets rubbed off on us if you're not strong enough. If you're strong enough, we'll rub off our influence on them, right? And we'll make them devotees or we'll bring them to Krishna consciousness. But if we are not very strongly situated, then we might get influenced by them, which is what we need to avoid, right? And it said, who's that coarseful who's not interested in self-realization? What is he interested in? He's just a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. And Prabhupada writes some, I mean, these purports are so powerful. I don't think we can even get through one purport, but just in the interest of time, I'm going to just read through. The restriction of association with such foolish persons is especially meant for those who are in the line of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Right? So those who are trying to make advancement in Krishna consciousness should this restriction, see again, restriction is there. This is a stricture. This is a rule. This is a directive. Advancement in Krishna consciousness involves, please focus on these things. These are the things that need to develop in us. These are the great qualities that have to develop in us as we make progress. Qualities of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, intelligence and spiritual knowledge, simplicity, material opulence. See, material opulence, fame, forgiveness, and control of the mind and senses. Prabhupada saying advancement in Krishna consciousness involves all these. Obviously, you'll ask, like, how does it involve material opulence? How does it involve fame? Yeah, it's a very simple thing. Actually, Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita saying that as we progress spiritually, we'll also progress materially. The Krishna consciousness, actually, Krishna Nama Chintamani, Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Krishna's Nama is Chintamani, Krishna is Chintamani. Krishna can give anything to anybody, right? But he will hold back based on our conditioning and our attachments. So otherwise, yeah, material opulence, what is the big deal? You know, Pundarika Vidyanidhi, if you've heard Chaitanya Leela, Pundarika Vidyanidhi was Rishabhanu, who came as Pundarika Vidyanidhi in Chaitanya Leela, and he was like a opulent, like a Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, big people, hugely rich people, right? Materially opulent, famous, not affected. Yukta Vairagya, not affected by any of that. So it's okay. Somebody can become materially opulent. If a devotee is not materially attached, he will become materially opulent also. But Krishna will not give because he knows that, oh yeah, if this This devotee gets material opulence, he's going to get stuck. Right? So he will not give. So he will give for those who are not more indifferent. Sudama, anyway, I don't have time, but yeah. So there are various qualities like this, like mercy is very, very important. Why mercy is important? Who is the epitome or emblem of mercy in our whole, in Krishna consciousness? When you think about Krishna, who is that person who is the most merciful?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. Who's Chaitanya
Nityananda
Mahaprabhu?
Prabhu.
Nityananda Prabhu.
When he
Okay.
gave
Nityananda Prabhu.
Jagai Madai.
Yeah, okay. In the context of the next 10 days, who is the most merciful? I have to pinpoint.
Radharani.
Radharani Prabhuji.
Radharani.
Yes, she is the mother of mercy. Prabhupada writes elsewhere saying that Krishna is the male, is the father, very strict. Radharani is very, very merciful. And what is our mercy? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the mood of Radharani. So the mercy means actually distributing Krishna consciousness, right? Anyway, so these qualities, each of these, we can go into we can keep on discussing. But these things we have to just, some of these we can register: control of mind, control of senses, simplicity. We have to live a simple life. We have to live a simple living, high thinking. All these qualities are to be manifested with the progress of Krishna consciousness. No separate endeavor required. But when will these qualities develop? These qualities will manifest only if we are strictly following the path of Krishna consciousness, of pure Krishna consciousness. So there is, again, every time I speak, I'll be speaking the same topics again and again. Shuddha Bhakti, Mishra Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti will result in developing all these qualities. A person who is engaged in pure devotional service will develop all these qualities automatically. Person who is engaged in mixed devotional service actually thrives on these qualities for the mixed devotion. So that person will find it very difficult to overcome these or to develop these qualities, right? Because if one associates with a Shudra, a foolish person who is like a dancing dog in the hands of a woman, then he cannot make any progress. Lord Chaitanya has advised that any person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and who desires to pass beyond material nescience must not associate himself with women or with persons interested in material enjoyment. Oh, heavy, isn't it? So these are the statements which I want all of us to digest, right? So this simply means that here Prabhupada is not necessarily differentiating devotee women versus non-devotee women. Okay, for a Purusha, for a male, this statement means that we should not associate unless absolutely required for the sake of service. Unless absolutely required for the sake of service, there should not be interaction between men and women. Okay, so basically there are two things, right? There are brahmacharis, there are sannyasis, then there are grihasthas, males, and then there are matajis. Ideally, all matajis are grihasthas or vanaprasthas based on what stage in life they are. So the brahmacharis are absolutely strictly they should not engage with women. So if you're on the other side, please make sure that you maintain distance from brahmacharis. Give them the protection that they require. They require that protection, right? Sannyasis, of course, they maintain their own position. Grihastha Purushas are allowed to engage only with their Grihastha, their wives. When a Grihastha Purusha has to engage with other Stree, it has to be strictly only as much as is required. Okay. Now I do things like this. Some people say it's crazy, but I think just for my own protection, I do things like this. If in case I'm having to drive a Mataji, I never ride on a two-wheeler with another Mataji. If I have to drive, which means I'm in a car, I make sure that the Mataji can sit in the back seat. I don't make the Mataji sit beside me. Okay. I mean, you might think that it's all crazy, but these are some things that are traditionally followed, right? And so the second thing is that unless absolutely required, if somebody wants to meet me, some Mataji wants to meet me, either it will be in a temple setup where people are there. It never happens in a room, secluded, separate room. or it should be with the Prabhu of that Mataji. I do these things for my own protection. So you can also see when you are engaged, involved in such situations, how you should react or how you should deal with these things. Which is why generally it is better if Matajis get guided personally by other Matajis, right? Or family, right? Purushastri, that's okay, right? Now, this is for the simple reason that actually in the next next purpose Prabhupada says, associating with a beautiful woman is detrimental, right? Yeah, because we have not transcended that skin yet. We've not transcended the skin, right? So it's dangerous. Or people who are interested in material enjoyment. So we should do as little as required, and sannyasis are completely. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciples couldn't even come near him. Like they had to offer obeisances from afar and go. Why? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to get affected? No, he's setting the standards. For a person seeking advancement in Krishna consciousness, such association is more dangerous than suicide. I mean, can there be a more powerful statement than this? More dangerous than suicide. So this association with, of course, association with outside women is, just full stop for men, right? It has to be a full stop, right? And similarly for women, associating with outside men is a full stop, right? Or persons interested in material enjoyment. We should not engage too closely with people who are behind material enjoyment. People keep talking about, I went to this place, I went to this international destination, I got this jewelry. I mean, some people are very strong, fixed, and they'll say, it's okay. Some people will get affected, right? And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. That's why Prabhupada is saying that it's more dangerous than suicide. What is suicide? Just losing the body. But for somebody seeking advancement in Krishna consciousness, this kind of association is more dangerous because it's going to make us lose our bhakti. There's nothing worse than that for a person who's advancing in Krishna consciousness. So we have to be very, very careful. Now, some of these might be more applicable for devotees in male body. Some of it will be more applicable for devotees in a female body, right? Material enjoyment is something, gold, ornaments, dressing nicely. Now, okay, please answer this question. Again, I know I'll get beaten up, but it's okay. I mean, I am doing a job here, right? How many of you dress nicely when you go to the temple? Yeah, I mean, is there okay? Let me ask the rhetorical question: is there anybody who doesn't dress nicely when you go to the temple? No. Why do you dress opulently? Why do you dress nicely? I know I'm going to get a
Because
standard answer. I know that. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, not
Yeah.
opulently, but we take bath and we wear clean clothes and we
Clean
should.
clothes is absolutely. I mean, that's the basic requirement, right? I'm talking about really dressing yourself up, right? Like I see so many mothers like oh yeah, new whatever nice sari, jing bang, and ornaments, and makeup and this and that and all that. Whatever. I mean,
Krishna
we want
Prabhuji.
to
no,
present
Prabhu, not
ourselves.
like that.
Yeah.
To look pleasant.
To look pleasant, okay.
He was just
For the
moderate.
Lord to show Prabhuji whatever He has given us, we have come in that form.
Okay.
Prabhuji, I just
Because
like
Prabhuji,
to dress
Prabhuji,
nicely.
we have to
Yeah. See, that's important. See, I just like to dress nicely. I mean, see, we have to be candid about this, right? Feeling, right? We just like to dress nicely. Yeah, I just, when I look at myself in the mirror, yeah, this is not matching. Yeah, maybe I'm wired like that, right? I'm wired like that. I mean, if I see, for example, I mean, I have some eye for art, and when I see things like like wrong colors mixed up, etc., I feel like crazy. I mean, saying this like, what is this? I mean, why is it like that? So some people are just wired to dress, just they want to do all this. And sometimes I see a lot of women, like wearing lipsticks and this, that, presentable flashy clothes, etc. Now we should understand that, saying that, see, while some devotees will say this is for the pleasure of the Lord, that's the mood of the gopis, that we will discuss sometime whenever we get the chance. We should go through fourth chapter of Adi Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anybody who's actually, I just today morning started the series in my 8:30 class. We're discussing 4th chapter of Adi Leela. Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is to actually understand the mood of Radharani and Gopis. Now, Radharani and Gopis dress the most opulent way possible. They make it a point to dress opulently, to dress such that they can attract the opposite gender. Who's the opposite gender there? They're dressed
Krishna.
to attract Krishna. They are intentionally dressing like that, but they don't even have a iota of self-centered sense gratification. Not even iota. All that is being done is simply for the pleasure of Krishna, because they know that Krishna is going to be pleased by looking at us like that. No, Krishna is not just pleased because he's not pleased because he's looking at women dressed nicely. He's pleased because of the purity of their love. Right? So it's not that Krishna is going to be happy when we are going to be dressed opulently. It doesn't mean that we should dress shabbily. But at the same time, everything and anything that we do, we should be socially aware. We should be socially aware. See, because Krishna is seeing the bhakti in us. He's not seeing the beautiful dress that we are wearing. He's okay. I mean, he's okay. Like gopis, everything about gopis is attractive to Krishna because they're pure in every inch of their existence. Right? Can we say that about ourselves? No, we can't. So we are not in the caliber to compare ourselves with the gopis and what they do or what Radharani does, right? So yeah, there is some conditioning because of which we dress opulently, but we should understand only one thing, that for example, I don't know how many of you have read Nectar of Devotion. What colors are banned within the temple? Does anybody know? Do you know that there are colors
Red.
banned? Yeah,
Red and blue.
red and blue.
Red,
Yeah.
blue, Prabhuji.
Red and blue. Are all of us aware of the saris that we wear or clothes that we wear, that it's not like, why red and blue?
This depends on the modes, passion and ignorance.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They are very striking colors.
Yeah, flashy, very flashy. So generally, the
Yes.
guidance is saying that don't dress flashily. That's the guidance.
Yes,
You don't have to dress flashily, right? Flashily means, oh, I say like Putana. You've seen that little Krishna video. No, I can't forget that little Krishna. When Putana is going, women are also like dumbstruck and like looking at her beauty, and then men are also like that. So we should dress in such a way that if you're going past, then like everybody's attention comes towards us. Everybody's attention should remain at the Supreme Lord. Now, of course, we are not so elevated, right? So obviously, our eyes will go towards materially attractive, opulent stuff. Right? Now, you might say, that's the problem of the opposite gender. Let them go figure out. Right? This is the point I'm trying to make. Right? It means two things, right? Either subtly, we are also maybe attached to it somewhere. Right? So I'll give you just an example for your understanding and appreciation. Like, for example, when Prabhupada was there, for men specifically, Prabhupada only gave 2 colors. What are those colors? Does anybody know? For men? For the
White and beige.
white and saffron, right? So white for non-brahmachari or whatever, right? Yeah, you know what it is, right? Now, what are the colors in ISKCON today for men? And they're competing with women. I see some I see some men now, like some fancy stuff, like the kurta can be tied here, something like that, like the I don't know what it's called. It's like that Gujarati people, right? Or Marwadis, they have some kind of dress where there is something they tie on top, like some new stuff, right? Some new stuff right now. Apart from white, there are other colored dhotis also, like somewhere cream, somewhere colored dhotis. Now, what is the point about all this? The point about all this is attracting other people. There's no other intent. So we have to be very, very careful with these things. These look so simple. What is the problem? The problem is it just retains our material attachment. It just keeps us materially attached. That's all. So I made it
Prabhuji,
a
can I
point.
say something?
Yeah, just
If you don't mind,
point.
say
Yeah,
something.
just 1 second. Yeah.
We were told in our classes that when you go to the temple, especially, you should go to, when we go, we should, as a respect, we should dress properly. I'm not referring to wearing lipstick and doing so much makeup and flashy, no. But to a certain extent, it should be, in a proper way dressed.
We should be presentable. We should be presentable. We should be neat.
Yes.
Sari should be like ironed.
Yes.
It should be clean.
Yeah.
It should have been washed. None
Yes.
of this will draw somebody's attention, right? Is it to draw somebody's attention? No, it's just to be clean. Say here, it's just one aspect of cleanliness here, right? Cleanliness.
Yes. And Prabhu, more than us, Krishna should see us.
Mataji, again, I'm trying to explain the same thing. Krishna doesn't look at our material clothes. Why is Krishna going to be attracted by looking at our material clothes? Please tell me.
Not material, Prabhuji. I don't know. These are the classes.
But we should ask these questions. No, if somebody says.
Many times I've heard this.
Please, you should ask the devotees who tell these things and ask them. At least till now, I have not got an understanding why Krishna would look at my material clothes. Krishna was so happy with looking at Sudama, who was a beggar. I mean, his clothes were torn. Torn clothes. Why would Krishna be... Krishna is telling us, saying that don't be materially attached. And he's asking us to be like materially well-dressed, etc. We have to be presentable. Presentable.
Yes,
for example, presentable is presentable. What is presentable, right? The point I'm making is it's not about our focus should not be on like that's why I was trying to say. So my wardrobe is all white. So I don't have any conflict or confusion about what I need to wear, isn't it? I mean, wherever I close my eyes and pick up something, it's going to be white. Because there's no other color at all in my wardrobe. I mean, I'm just saying that, see, the idea is that these are all material attachments, right? We should create a path for these things to reduce. That's the whole point. Is that okay? So I'm not trying to define a standard or a framework in which these things to be done. The only point I'm making is we shouldn't be dressing in such a way that my own focus is going on my own dressing.
Yeah, that is right, Prabhu. Not to be flashy. Yeah.
And not just about flashy. It's not my attention should not be about. See, now, I'm again, please don't get me wrong, right? So when there are a group of devotees, there'll be some who are not very advanced. They'll come and say, oh, Naya, is it a new sari? Now, I'm saying, where did you buy this? Now, these conversations should be avoided.
Yes.
Right? Now, what happens? It's a very natural thing. I know. I mean, I've seen for whatever it is, like, our whole preaching is like so many women, right? And I try to tell them saying that, please dress in such a way that it doesn't become a topic of conversation. It doesn't become a topic of focus. Now, it's not Krishna conscious, it's Sari conscious, it's jewelry conscious, it's something else conscious. This is not what we are coming here for, right? So we have to protect ourselves here as women. We have to protect ourselves. Okay, if somebody is getting into this, where did you buy? It's nice. Last time I went there. Please move away from that. It's not the right association for us. It's not going to help us in making progress in bhakti. What we need to do is those people who are going to talk about, oh, so Krishna is so opulently dressed. Krishna is so nicely decorated. Oh, see the flowers there, see the color of that flower. Obviously, I love to discuss things with that. I go into so much of details about, the dress, the matching, color combination used, etc., etc. But that's about Krishna. That's not about us. Right. So these things are all told. I really don't know. I mean, I also heard this. I'm not denying. I've also heard many years back some people saying that we have to come very dressed nicely for the pleasure of the Lord. But we should understand that that's a very exalted state. We come dressed for our own pleasure first, and then maybe if Krishna is pleased, okay, it's okay, right? So that part we should cut off. We should not become attached to this material things, right? So that was the point, right? So hope I was able to drive the point, right? Our own attraction to these material things should go on decreasing. We shouldn't do or create situations by which we are going to aggravate this attachment, right? By which we're going to deepen this attachment.
Understood, Prabhuji. Understood. But what about big functions like Janmashtami, Gaura Purnima? On those days also.
Now I've left the topic to you, right? For you to decide. I've said what I need to say. See, the whole point is about the focus has to be on bhakti, right? What is the difference between a Janmashtami and another day? for us. What is the difference? You please tell me. What is the difference between some other day and a Janmashtami day? What should be our mood?
To go and celebrate the birth of Krishna.
No.
More services.
Everything should be the same.
Purify. No, it should not also be the same, because we are on throughout the year, we are like, we're just like routine Krishna consciousness. You know what is Janmashtami?
Like every day is a Janmashtami like that.
Yes.
Janmashtami is
So
the day
the
when
Lord,
we have to reflect, saying that, is my heart ready for Krishna to appear? Will Krishna, is my heart prepared for Krishna's appearance? When will that Janma happen? When will Krishna manifest himself in my heart? This is Janmashtami. This is Janmashtami. Like, I mean, how does it matter whether it's not for the enjoyment, it's not for celebration, it's for reflection. Festival is for reflection. Is to think, saying that last year I was in this state in my Krishna conscious, last Janmashtami. This Janmashtami, have I made any progress? And glorifying Krishna, beautifying Krishna, giving, offering opulent bhoga to Krishna. It's not about us. That's the day when we should not even remember that we exist. I mean, like, yeah, like Mataji was saying, services, yeah, it's so drowned in services, we don't even know. We didn't even get time to change my dress. That is Janmashtami. That is Janmashtami. Right? So we should understand that the mood is of celebration is for, I mean, how much Nanda Maharaj was so happy. I mean, Krishna book describes, right? I mean, I'm stuck with one verse, which is why I said this verses were very heavy. Nandotsav, what is Nandotsav? All the Brajavasis are so opulently dressed. They're all opulently dressed because they're very, very rich people. And then what do they do? What is the value of their opulence? They're throwing butter at each other's. Just imagine you're wearing like 10,000 rupees sari and somebody just throws butter on your sari. What will you feel? Right? And they're enjoying, and then they're throwing butter, they're throwing milk, this, that, and all. No, don't care. They're just wearing that because that's socially required or something like that, right? But they didn't really care. Nobody was really bothered what happened to their clothes or whatever, right? I mean, they're just running and so happy that Krishna is there, right? Krishna has come, and after so many years, Nanda and Yashoda have been blessed with a child. Their mood was completely in ecstasy. They were. They really didn't. They were not in external consciousness at all. I mean, Krishna Janmashtami, Radhastami, for me, this period of the year, and Chaitanya, Gaur Purnima, Balaram Purnima, Janmashtami, Radhastami, Gaur Purnima. These are the, like core critical times during the year when we have to seriously reflect about our bhakti. Seriously reflect. We should keep reflecting all the time. But these are the times when you have to seriously reflect, saying that, have I really made advancement? Krishna is, I mean, like, verse is talking about gravity, simplicity, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of mind, control of senses. Where am I? Where was I last year? Where am I today? This is Janmashtami. I mean, I gave a class and I just said, saying that, are our hearts ready for Krishna to appear? That's all I ask. At least my heart isn't, right? And I feel miserable saying that, I've been in Krishna consciousness now for more than 14 years and my heart is not still pure enough, right? And this is Janmashtami. I mean, it's in one sense you can say that I felt horrible, miserable. So I said, okay, let me try to put more effort. Let me try to purify myself more. At least next year, will I be slightly more purer than this year? Okay, let me work towards it. That's Janmashtami. So these externals are not important for us, please. I mean, Krishna's externals are important for us. Did we offer a new dress to Krishna? Was it more opulent than the dress he was wearing yesterday? Yeah, I bought a new saree. No, I spent 50,000 rupees and I gifted a beautiful set of ornaments for Krishna. This is the mood. This
yes,
has to be
Prabhu,
our
we
mood.
did that too.
Very nice. This has to be the mood.
We chanted also extra. I think most of us chanted also extra rounds.
Yeah, which is fine, right? See, the whole idea is about the focus has to be Krishna.
Yes.
Right? Whatever deities you are worshipping, etc. Right? The focus has to be them. So please understand in this whole thing, how important is it? How I look or what I dress or what I do, how important is it? Except for whether Krishna was pleased with me or not. Is really anything else really important? It doesn't look like, at least to me, at least from whatever Prabhupada purports, the mood Prabhupada is trying to establish. I remember, if you see Prabhupada's videos, right, and look at all the, I see all the people. I can see, very simple cotton saris others used to wear. Very simple, right? I think I am not like such an expert, right? But I see when I see those videos, I see men very simply dressed in white or saffron, and women dressed in like very simple, cotton saris, very, very simple, very simply dressed, but of course elegant and beautiful, right? But not much focused. Of course, many of them even just learned how to wear a drape a sari, right? But the whole mood was about how can I make Prabhupada happy? How can I please Prabhupada? Okay, by wearing this sari, Prabhupada is going to be pleased. Okay, fine. I'm wearing a sari. I wouldn't have worn a sari for all my life, but I'm happy to wear, however clumsy it is. I'm happy to try and wear something for Prabhupada's pleasure. That's all it was, right? So we should pull ourselves, extract ourselves out of this external consciousness. We should become internal conscious. These kind of statements is all about external consciousness. Who cares? Right? Let's make the temple opulent. Let's make Krishna opulent. Let's make Krishna dressed best. Right? But we don't have to really care so much about how we look. Of course, people don't come into our temples and say, okay, these people don't even know how to dress, or they're so shabby, or somebody is wearing pant. For example, men, I see men, initiate devotees, etc. They're wearing pant and running around doing seva. No, that's not our standard. Our standard is dhoti kurta. You're serving Krishna in some attire which he doesn't like. What is that? What kind of a service is that? And then we get a lot of explanations for this. No. Then we'll say, no, Prabhu, actually, Krishna is only looking at our mood. He's not looking at our dress. And then on the other side, then before the function, suddenly we are like fully decked up. Saying that why? You could have remained in pant, no? Through Aarti also. What difference is it? So, I'm saying we are like a little bit mixed up all over, right? The important thing is that the mood of surrender, the purity is what Krishna is looking at. The love. Really, with what love are we offering? And if none of these were so important, then we wouldn't have had any dress code at all. So we have a dress code. Acharyas have given a dress code. We follow the dress code. Right? That is to satisfy our Acharya, saying that, okay, I'm following whatever they're saying. But the consciousness should not go there. The consciousness should be in Krishna. We should be Krishna conscious. We should not be sari conscious, other women conscious, other men conscious, ornament conscious, this conscious, that conscious. Stop put up. Only when we put those things aside can we be Krishna conscious. Isn't it? Okay,
Yes, Prabhuji.
I'm done. I'm done with one verse.
Prabhuji,
I don't know. I don't know how it
Prabhuji,
works.
one more small question, Prabhuji, can I ask you?
Yeah, please.
Prabhuji, now when it comes to this, about the palatable dishes, now we
we
make...
didn't talk about palatable dishes at all. Oh, yeah.
No, I just want to know. I just want to ask you, Prabhuji.
No, true.
Now,
True, Mataji. Yeah, please.
we make for Krishna sometimes, not every day,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
About the palatable dishes, sometimes we make, with the food or anytime, we want to make some palatable dishes for Krishna.
Palatable dishes for Krishna. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. We
Now, after offering, that becomes bhoga, that become prasad, so we eat that. Yeah. So is that sense gratification?
No.
Just want to have clarity, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So see, I'll tell you one thing, right? See, Prabhupada said there are different levels here. Okay. So initially, when devotees come into Krishna consciousness, right now, we start talking about all these rules. We say no onion, garlic, no eating outside. Then people are already like, they're like, what is this? So what Prabhupada said was, when people come to Krishna consciousness newly, feed them till their neck. Feed them prasadam till their neck. Meaning they should not even have space to think about going and eating outside. Fill them so much. Now, this is just two things. Automatically, physiologically, you can't eat anything more, right? Second thing is the prasadam actually purifies us, right? So our desire to actually eat outside food goes on decreasing to the extent we overeat prasadam. I'm using this word overeat. We are expected to overeat prasadam initially. But what is Rupa Goswami saying? Atyahara parayasascha, or, whoever. We should not do. But as we make progress in Krishna consciousness, now we come to another level. In that another level, we say, what is your favorite dish, Mataji? Padma Mataji, what is your
You're asking
favorite
me?
dish?
Me?
Yeah,
I
palatable
like
dish,
kheer.
right? Kheer, okay.
Like,
So
I like
Mataji
kheer.
likes kheer. Kheer, okay. So you are thinking Janmashtami, I'm going to offer kheer to Krishna. No, when you think about this kheer, suddenly, our mouth might salivate. I might say, oh, I like this kheer. It's okay. It's okay. Right? Because now at least what we are
Yes.
doing, we are making all those dishes that we like and offering it to Krishna and then honoring it. This is okay. This is okay. This is the second stage. The highest stage is there is no change internally when we think about what I have to cook for Krishna. It's simply Krishna's pleasure. That's the topmost stage. When I might not cook something that I like at all, I might cook something that I've disliked all my life. Maybe somebody doesn't like Karela, right? And maybe they'll cook Karela because on Prabhupada's appearance, Prabhupada liked it. And eat a full bowl of Karela. Then we have made progress. Because that's not for
Yes.
my pleasure. That's purely for Prabhupada's pleasure. Of course, not if something we eat and spoil our health. No, not that way, right? But like, dislike. As we make progress in Krishna consciousness, I don't like this, I like this should be out of the door.
Yes, Prabhu, I understood.
Right.
But kheer generally I make for Janmashtami because Krishna likes kheer,
No problem.
not because
No
I
problem.
like. That's my consciousness.
I'm not like I said, it's a generic guidance I'm giving.
Yes,
Initially,
I
we
understood.
overeat. Second level, we do cook things that we like and offer it to Krishna, and we, eat, enjoy that palatable dish, which is okay, which is prasadam, which is purifying us. But at the highest level, we don't even think about our sense gratification, about the satisfaction of our palate. That is the highest platform.
Prabhuji, practically, if we see, suppose if we don't like the dishes, the persons in our family members doesn't eat the dishes, but if Krishna or Prabhupada likes and we prepare it, it becomes waste, right? So in that sense also, we don't prepare the one which we don't like. So in that situation, what to do, Prabhuji?
Okay, I mean, family situations are all different. Like, I mean, what we do, we cook and then we invite other devotees also and we offer them the prasadam. It's okay. I mean, whatever, right? You can figure out. And see, it's not like, okay, if you have to make something which none of your family members eat, it's not like we have to make so much that we can't honor it ourselves, right? Maybe you can make a bowl. Yeah, we can just offer a bowl. And and if we are in the mood of full surrender, maybe our family people are not, we will eat that. As long as it doesn't, it's not oppose, it's okay with our health, then we can eat that. It's okay. See, that is why I'm saying it's all about consciousness. Rules are obviously there, which are guiding force, right? So that we don't just break them left, right, and center, right? But this is a guiding force for us. It's about, yes, see, this pleases Krishna, right? I mean, I'm sure palatable dishes, very important topic, right? So, for example, how many of us say it happens in everybody's house, right? More salt in food, right? And then you offered it to Krishna. Then you take it out, then you taste it, and you say, "Oh, so much of salt." What do you do? What do you do? Tell me honestly. What do you do?
Say sorry to Krishna.
Okay. And then what do you do?
Eat it like that, Prabhu, because
Hey, one
because
by one,
Krishna
please.
Modify and we will have, Prabhuji.
Sorry, one by one. Suma Mataji.
We will modify it and we will have.
We'll modify it.
Prabhuji.
Vasudha Mataji.
We'll modify it and we will taste. Again, if there is we need changes, we will do, Prabhu.
Yeah, we'll do, Prabhuji. Yes.
Prabhuji, I eat it like that.
Yeah, some devotees.
I eat like that because I feel I have offered it to Krishna. Krishna ate it, so I have to eat that.
So, see, some of these again, we should understand. Of course, if you are in, if if you've invited some devotees, some seniors Vaishnavas are coming, it's not like, okay, I offered it like this badly, I'm going to offer the same thing to them. No, right? Then we beg for forgiveness to Krishna and say, no, your dear devotees are coming, so I'm going to fix it, right? But if I'm eating myself, I'm going to eat it like that. I won't make any change to that.
Yeah, for yourself it's okay, but for others you have to
So these things we have to understand, right? See, that is why it all Krishna consciousness is about being conscious about Krishna, and Krishna consciousness is the antithesis to being conscious about myself, right? Or opposite to being conscious about myself, my likings, me, my dress, my clothes, etc., etc., etc. That's Krishna conscious. I'm done, I think. See, the statement, infatuation and bondage which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as that resulting from attachment to woman or to the fellowship of men who are fond of women. And this doesn't apply only to men. Okay, this is just talking about the family bondage. Family bondage. Of course, for men it is women, for women it is men, and then children, and this and that and all that. And this, note the words here: infatuation and bondage. Right. So these things we have to be careful. Anyway, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry I couldn't do justice to these 5 verses because, like I said, it was like heavy set of verses. I don't think I could have just gone through. So maybe, next speaker, you can ask them to redo maybe from verse 34 to 39 because I didn't complete anything at all. But yeah, please read these verses. Very, very, very. I mean, this whole Kapila Muni's, these set of verses are very powerful. Actually, they're very powerful. They kind of, pull us out of this attachment that we have, deep-rooted attachment to material things. So yeah, how many other times we read these verses, discuss these verses again and again, I think it will be beneficial. Okay, I think we're way beyond our scheduled time. Sorry to have extended.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class. Again, a hard-hitting one. We'll have to go back to our basics and see where we are into Krishna consciousness from the beginning. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If nobody has any more questions, we can
Hare
end the class
Krishna,
with
Mataji.
prayers. Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Prabhuji, I just wanted to know, Prabhuji, today you enlightened us about how Mataji and Prabhujis have to be very careful. So, Prabhuji, are there any strict rules in ISKCON, Prabhuji, how Mataji's contact or communicate with Prabhujis, even as their guide, Prabhuji, are there any restrictions on that?
Of course, there are restrictions. So again, yeah, people are, it's very difficult, right? See, very difficult to digest. Very difficult to digest. See, normally what I prefer doing is with people whom I know, I go to the depth of the rules because I know them, right? And I don't, because I mean, yeah, this is just a, one of conversations that we have here. I don't want to state something which cannot be completely understood or appreciated by all of you, and then results in some, there are rules. There are definitely rules. See, we have to understand. Simple statement I'll make, right? Again, I'm leaving it to all of you to judge and decide what you want to do, right? We should always remember that the body of a female attracts a man. Simple. I'm just making this statement. Okay. A hair of a lady attracts a male. Skin of a lady attracts a male. Right? Now, which is what I'm saying. So there is, I know of, traditional women, the way they dress, their dress is such that except maybe for the hands, and the face, no other part of the body is shown, even when they wear a sari. Now, these are just part of our culture, right? But because of modern, everything is just today, no rules. Nobody really cares to follow any rules, right? So the whole idea is maintain this consciousness that I can be the cause of fall down for somebody else, and just be compassionate towards another devotee. That's all I would want to say, right? And people today go the other way around and say, do we don't have the freedom to do bhakti? Yeah, freedom to do. Some Mataji came and asked me, saying, in I run a center in Bangalore, in area called Hulimau, and I strictly follow rules there. Right? Unfortunate for all those devotees who are associated there. So some Mataji came and asked me saying that, so our standards are actually that Matajis don't sing in a public gathering. Matajis sing in their own satsang. Okay, this is one of the standards. And then I told that Mataji, I asked that she was a little bit upset, saying that, can't I lead kirtan? So I asked her, why do you want to lead kirtan? Please tell me one reason you want to lead kirtan. I don't want to lead kirtan. I'm happy if somebody else is leading kirtan. Why do you want to lead kirtan? Are you not getting the opportunity to repeat Krishna's name, to take Krishna's name? Is it that Krishna is going to recognize your bhakti only when you hold the mic in front of you? Sense gratification. It's sense gratification. Because Krishna is not, please remember again, it's not that only when I have a mic and sing beautifully that Krishna is taking notice of me. I may be one among 500 standing in a big gathering of devotees and wholeheartedly calling out Krishna when I have to repeat Krishna's name, and Krishna will look at me and not the lead singer. So I asked that Mataji, you're not being prevented from doing bhakti. Why is your focus going that side? Everybody has the opportunity to glorify Lord. Is it that we are glorifying the Lord only when we have a mic? So the mood should not be about, and we use all this to question, rebel, fight against rules. Rules are there for a reason. Right? And there is no restriction when it comes to Mataji's satsang. For example, you don't invite me, you don't invite any Prabhus into this, and yeah, you can do whatever you want. You can sing, you can dance, you can do whatever, right? No restrictions. And today, many North Indians, for example, you go to Marwadis, Gujaratis, and they happily dance. Matajis happily dance, right? But it's there in their own gathering. When there are Parapurushas, what do? They cover their head. It's a very simple three, the etiquette, right? Simple. It's been there in India. It's not something new. In fact, actually, many other Sampradaya people come to us and say, people, you're making a fool of, Vaishnavism. This is not how Vaishnavism was being practiced. There are rules and regulations. There are etiquettes. And there's a whole new thing today about female Diksha Guru. I mean, we got like other Sampradaya people really, I mean, there were interviews done and they were like really upset. Saying, what are you doing? I mean, this is never ever accepted in any Sampradaya. Right? So there's so many things which are happening today in the name of this. But we should understand it's for our own good. Just imagine as just, if suppose say one of you becomes a big preacher, what will happen to your personal life? We understand, right? So there are certain restrictions, right? There's certain restrictions, and they're just for our own good. It's for our protection. It'll protect us and our bhakti.
True,
It's
Prabhuji.
considering the society. It's considering the society as the whole. And one more thing, I tell Mataji saying that the whole culture of the country, of the whole world is in the hands of Matajis. The whole culture. Matajis want equality. I say no equality. You have more power than men. Why? Kitchen is in your hands. If kitchen is in your hands, the whole consciousness of the house is in your hands. The consciousness of how the house is in your hands. The whole consciousness of the society is in your hands because there are so many women. You can drive, you can change, you can bring about a revolution if you wish, provided you know your strength and play to your strength. Right? But we don't want that. We want grass is always greener on the other side, right? We look at somebody else and say, no, see, he forget about he. He has only limited role to play, right? She has a bigger role to play. You play that she role and you can change the face of the world, right? But we don't want to play, which is why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, do your duty. Even if you do somebody else's duty well, it is resulted, it's sinful. Don't do somebody else's duty. Do your duty. There's a reason for this because the society is structured that way. right? That there are certain strengths with men, there are certain strengths with women, and they have to play through their strengths, use their strengths in Krishna consciousness. And that actually will result in us making much better progress, and also help the whole society to be much more Krishna conscious.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Other sampradaya people can't even imagine things that we do in our sampradaya. Okay, anyway,
Wonderful.
all these are controversial
Thank you
topics,
so much.
but yeah,
Thank
as
you
much
for
as
all the
hopefully
explanation.
I'm not hurt anybody's sentiments. Deeply I would have hurt,
No, Prabhuji, not at all.
to the extent that is
We have learned a lot today,
required.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall we
Yeah.
end the class with
We
prayers?
would not have taken it very seriously, Prabhuji, until and unless you have told us. We would have taken it very lightly, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Otherwise,
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Mataji,
kripa
as
sindhubhyeva cha
Okay, somebody had a
patitanam
question.
pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
Hare
namo
Krishna,
namaha.
Prabhuji.
Harika
Just
Mataji.
one small question. You mentioned two colors, red and blue. Yes, red I understand is flashy, but why blue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I think one more Mataji answered that it's Tamoguna.
Mode of ignorance,
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
yeah.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Shall I end the class with your permission,
Yeah,
Prabhuji?
yeah, please.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha
Devacha
patitanam
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Ananta Koti
Hare
Vaishnavinda
Krishna.
Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Danda
Thank you
Pranam.
so much, Prabhuji. Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you so much.
I'm ending the
Krishna.
class, devotees. See you all tomorrow.